what they call the social credit system. If any of these family photos, if any of your activities online, if your purchases, if your associations, if your friends are in any way different from what the government or the powers that be of the moment would like them to be, you're no longer able to purchase train tickets. You're no longer able to board an airplane. You may not be able to get a passport. You may not be eligible for a job. You might not be able to work for the government. All of these things are increasingly being created and programmed and decided by algorithms. And those algorithms are fueled by precisely the innocent data that our devices are creating all of the time, constantly, invisibly, quietly, right now. Our devices are casting all of these records that we do not see being created, that in aggregate seem very innocent. You were at Starbucks at this time. You went to the hospital afterwards. You spent a long time at the hospital. After you left the hospital, you made a phone call. You made a phone call to your mother. You talked to her until the middle of the night. The hospital was an oncology clinic. Even if you can't see the content of these communications, the activity records, what the government calls metadata, which they argue they do not need a warrant to collect, tells the whole story. And these activity records are being created and shared and collected and intercepted constantly by companies and governments. And ultimately it means as they sell these, as they trade these, as they make their businesses on the backs of these records, what they are selling is not information. What they are selling is us. They're selling our future. They're selling our past. They are selling our history, our identity, and ultimately they are stealing our power and making our
something ain't right.
Something ain't right, but something can be right in the changing of the guards. That's correct. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to an incredible another night of Real Deal Media's #1 late night shadow band show, World at War. I am your late night host, Dean Ryan. It is so good to be here as the holiday weekend is upon us and the holiday itself. Yes, it is. Thanksgiving is just within reach. Yeah, that moment, that weekend where we all gain at least 10 pounds for the next 4 days, and I cannot wait. Who's excited? Anyways, welcome everyone. Tonight's episode is Changing of the Guards. Changing of the Guards. As, there's a lot of movements just within that realm of potentially changing of the guards of Akash Patel. Dare I say Pem Bondi? Yeah, we're going to be getting into that. Kind of a stalemate kind of day. A day where we saw just 24 hours ago that a imminent war, imminent attack on Venezuela was within reach. It's the U.S. military and the Navy, the seamen over there, were having their surf and turf and dinners, as Jim Fetzer told us just last night. Yeah, that's true. And, well, so far, nothing to report, nothing new on that, which I think is a good thing, right? So anyways, we'll revisit that and really get into some open lines tonight as Jim was supposed to be here. He had a last-minute Audible and had to make some changes. So therefore, we're just a few minutes late tonight. So I do apologize for that. I have so many hurdles I have to just jump over every single night. So that's just how that one goes. But yeah, nothing to report on the war front. It's a standstill, a stalemate, a stagnant. You just call it, but nothing's moving, and I think it is a sign that's good. But we've been faked out before. So there's that one, as you know. Okay, so what else we have tonight on the radar? Well, some unusual things, and in some stories you're not going to hear anywhere else. Really, you're going to hear them here, and that's what I'm excited about. And one of those things is where and who are the Israelis who are now, a lot of them left the country of Israel. And I have made the case that the new Israel is going to be in Ukraine. So I have some things to report on that. Yeah, you do. But I have a country that you least expect where boatloads of Israelis are going. You won't believe this. So I'm going to tell you about that. Also, you might have heard late last night, I certainly heard, that another salacious scandal is now looming and just burning the sensational viral escapades across the web, the World Wide Web, the worldwide wiretap too. And that's Erica Kirk. Yes, somebody has a baby bump. And I'm not talking about Melania this time or whoever's playing Melania. Yeah, so we'll investigate that really fictitious story of the Erica Kirks. And by the way, I saw a third one. I saw a third Erica Kirk just last night in my investigation into this very pressing matter. And where does JD Vance stand in all of this? Where is that little unusual looking guy from Ohio? Yeah, we'll find out. I just can't believe it. It was just a salacious Monday. By the way, if you didn't see last night's show, it's a real it's a whopper, just to put it bluntly. So we'll talk about that. Also, a major showdown all in the Far East over there in the South China Sea, as China and Japan are down each other's throats here, with Donald Trump in the middle. What does that mean? How does that represent anything? Are there going to be any more exits of the Brexits? We'll find out. Plus, speaking of exits, the Republican, derailment continues. It appears to be, as the echo chambers seem to tell us, that even more Republicans would like to leave. They're waiting in the horizons. They're just a little timid, a little scared, and they're getting diaper rash because they fear others, and at least a certain one. So we'll see who that is and try to guess who it isn't. Also, I have a very bleak, grim prediction from Nostradamus, who never seems to die. He never seems to go away. And we only seem to really highlight the predictions that he kind of got right, or maybe he did a little bit, but he has a losing streak. But we'll see if this one is in the win or the losing column, as he makes another grim prediction that might be coming true next year. Yes, we'll see who is better, him or Carnett. We'll find out. And finally, some extremely weird news, as it's amazing what people are now doing with their deceased loved ones to collect their checks. I just can't believe the story. And plus, we're going to be checking the live chats here tonight, as well as maybe if you want to call in too, because I found some things out about Canada last night and one of our members too. It's just incredible. Yeah. Maybe we might rehash that story. Oh, and plus a new segment tonight for all of those shoppers out there. And yes, man, I'm talking to you out there. The core demographic that does their Christmas shopping, December 23rd, 24th, because we're allergic to retail. So a new segment tonight called Real Deal Retail. And you're going to learn a thing or two from that one. So that's how that one is. Okay, we're broadcasting live now on the Real Dean Ryan over there on Facebook. Yes. Hello, if you can see me. And if you can't, it's going to be like this for a while. Also, a big hello to everyone over there at Dean Ryan TV, where we lose 10 subscribers a week who get unsubbed from YouTube. We'll miss you, but it was good while it lasted. It's just amazing. And hello to the Frozen channel over there at Rumble, where we don't know how much we lose or gain. We're just frozen, kind of like the Encino Man. It's just great. So hello to everyone on Rumble. Okay, there's that one. Also, just a quick little update before I forget. Although we say live weeknights, just a quick update on the schedule. Tomorrow will be our Friendsgiving kind of night. If you, the family, friends, or whoever it might be, tomorrow we're going to be doing a kind of a Thanksgiving kind of treat, a little quaint between myself and all of you out there. And we'll be doing some festive things tomorrow night. And then we will then honor the holidays going into Thursday. And then Friday, well, Black Friday, we will concoct something together for that and throughout the weekend. So just wanted to share that before I forget, because I have a very feeble mind at times. All right, let's get started now with some headlines from around the world and in your neck of the woods, shall we? All right, let's get started now with some headlines that you need to know about in a very stagnant kind of evening here. Well, there's a lot of talk going on here. There's a lot of talk. And I've covered this story many, many times. And I don't know how many more times I can cover, but there's something to be said about this, because to my knowledge and to my observations, this has been one of the most lackluster holiday seasons I've seen, and we've all seen in quite some time. But the sad part is there's a lot of hungry people that are not going to be having their Thanksgiving this time of year. And not for reasons, traditional reasons that you might think that is. Well, it's down to the bare reasons, the bare bone reasons of nobody can afford it. And it's a real reflection of the country and the sign of the times that we're living in. Well, let me tell you about this now, as the Real Deal headlines skirt us to the edge of whole worlds of calamity. Well, America's most beloved Thanksgiving meal, again, as it's being emphasized, is costing more than ever. Yeah. Well, what we thought was just $22 a plate, well, it might be even more than that. As now there's new statistics coming out that American families are now going to be pushed back into debt because of this holiday, at least an average of $107. $107. Well, millions of Americans will spend Thanksgiving hunched over a stove, juggling dishes in and out of the oven, anxiously checking a recipe propped up on the counter, and finding out, how long do I cook a turkey? Why is my pie soggy? Why is my gravy thickening? And why is Aunt Edna snoring? And should we just tie her to the roof of the car? Good questions. Well, many will look to the old episodes and reruns of Julia Child. Yes, that wino, drunken steward of food, the celebrity chef who spoke, spending her holiday besieged by phone calls from strangers seeking answers to their culinary cries. Well, for this utterly American feast, as foreigners might see it, well, there's something to really take note about. Now, somehow, many have managed to fix up their Thanksgivings, maybe have sushi. And I know people that have done that, and it's kind of weird and odd. I've even been in the Thanksgiving confines of a tofurkey, and it was not toe die for, but quite the opposite. Somebody's dying, and it was me. But to replicate everything that we've been saying here, American families this year, again, will be spending around $107.09 to be exact, more than last year's Thanksgiving, when the average cost of a meal was $98.37. Yes, we pinch pennies and we pinch a lot of things around here. Well, now the signs of the times are saying, as the latest inflation figures from the Department of Agriculture and Bureau of Labor Statistics, well, despite the assurance by President Trump that, quote, our prices are coming down very substantially on groceries, they're already at a much lower level than they were last time with the last administration. Now, food inflation has averaged more than 3% over the past 12 months. Yeah, that's right. Pumpkin soup, which many people used to eat in the years past. Well, that pumpkin soup is almost as much as the turkey these days. This is just incredible. And, you know, as we're talking about the cost, well, we can't forget what we just consumed just the other night with Campbell's soup and how they're just, you know, peeing on all of us peanut gallery people, how it's mechanically separated, how it's GMO chicken, how it's bioengineered meat. In fact, one of the most leading stories on everybody's local news this time of year, once again, is how the red meat, the beef that you find at grocery stores, is being injected with soylent salt from the Ganges rivers. For all we know, it's all cancerous food, and it's undeniable. In fact, people have taken matters into their own hands to really prove that the foodemic isn't necessarily about scarcity, but it's really about the poisons. As if you think about it, America is 5% of the world's population, but we have the highest cancer rate in the world. What does that tell you? Yes, we're the military might for a creepy country, but now they're done with us and they're ready to just rid us from the movie. Here's one bystander as she took matters into her own hands.
I'm here at Aldi, and almost everything they have contains bioengineered food ingredients. Contains a bioengineered food ingredient.
Pretty disgusting, isn't it? Anybody hungry? And that's what's being fed to us. Yeah, the pig slop. It's unbelievable. So if you don't have the funds to buy the pig slop, well, consider yourself somewhat lucky. So that's what we have to look forward to this coming Thursday. But that will change tomorrow night. We're going to enjoy ourselves in other means. Well, speaking of the holidays and the signs of the times, well, now this is another sign of the time, which I have a solution for. Well, this is now some new numbers that have been coming out here as U.S. retail sales now are losing steam as now consumer confidence falls, as cost bites. And so does reality too. But let me tell you a bit more about this one now. Well, U.S. retail sales have now lost their momentum in September, and firms grappled with an uptick in business costs, government data has now showed as of today, underscoring growing concerns about affordability in the world's biggest economy. Beyond the delayed economic figures indicating that the consumers turned cautious towards the end of the summer, while a separate survey now has now been released and has now saw consumer confidence hitting its lowest level since April of last year, if you can recall. Now, economists warn that the softening in sales is likely to persist as President Donald Trump now's tariffs add to cost increases while the labor market weakens. Now, overall retail sales picked up, by 0.2% on a month-to-month basis, said the Commerce Department, and they have no reason to lie. Why would they? Now, slightly below the analyst expectations and cooling from August, 0.6% increase. And did you feel that increase? Exactly, I didn't either. Well, now a report by the Labor Department meanwhile, showed the wholesale inflation picked up in September, rising by 0.3% in line with many forecasters foreshadowing. Now, the rise was driven by a 0.9% jump in good prices, highlighting the steeper cost that businesses face. Yeah, that's true, especially now with the Obamacare really coming into its own footprint now. Much of it was attributed to the volatile food and energy segments. But for now, many retailers across the country continue to shield customers from the full effects of higher business prices. Now, as Trump's tariffs take hold, in their own kind of molasses pace. All eyes have been on the consumers, a key driver of the world's biggest economy, who now respond to price pressures. Now, affordability has now emerged as a key worry, with Democrats' victories in an off-year elections in New Jersey, New York, and even, yes, Virginia. Yeah, it's also now fueled by voters who are angry over rising costs. Well, amongst many other things to be angry about. Now, Trump has since widened the tariff expectations and exemptions, rather, to cover various agriculture products as cost of living weigh on American voters. And yes, the cost of living is, it used to be just a reflection of the gas prices, but you cannot go anywhere now and just get, just have a few dollars in your pocket like the old days, and maybe get something, a snack or anything. No, everything costs like $5 at the very least, 10 in certain places. I mean, we're really chasing London and their just way of living as far as price gouging is concerned. Now, besides the muted growth just over the fall, particularly September, Navy Federal Credit Union, for example, Chief Economist Heather Long, well, she flagged notable monthly declines in categories hard hit by the tariffs. Those include auto parts, electronics, appliances, sporting goods, and even instruments. Yes, music always takes a hit during these times. She said that American consumers are in a value hunting mode. They're spending more on the basics and being extra choosy with where they spend their, discretionary dollars, as they're now called. There's also a growing gap between higher earners and lower income households. Yeah, the middle class is dissipating. Do you notice that? Although the wealthier households continue to spend, middle and lower income families are now turning more cautious heading into the holiday season. Yeah, that's right. Those toys that you want to get your kids at KB's toy stores that you can't afford anymore, well, you're just now going to have to settle for the toys in the little Cracker Jack box. That's right. Now, retail figures alongside fresh evidence of soft private sector hiring will boost the case for another Federal Reserve interest rate cut, hopefully in December, they're saying. Now, just to close it out now, the consumer confidence is now dropping, as many economists are now witnessing. Now, looking ahead, the Fed and the federalists will be digesting newer private sector indicators, but are bracing for the worst. It's the inflation impulse due to the tariffs. Well, that doesn't stop me one bit, as now I want to tell you about this. Real Deal Retail, because I'm here to help. I'm a friend. I know I just don't come with problems. I come with solutions. And ask the woman at the airport who tried to kick me in the Jimmy. She'll tell you. Well, in this next segment that you're about to see, you're going to see just exactly, and this is a new thing for men too, who've never been inside the retail shops unless, point blank by guns. But you're going to see just how protected now the retail stores of America truly are, and how junky they could truly be too, when you just want to find one item and one item only, but I show you how it's done. Take notes, as now we go to our new segment called Real Deal Retail, and hopefully you can learn a thing or two. So, I'm here at Ross, and trying to find some. Look at this flea market of a retail store. Total flea market. The loss prevention is remarkable here. They have a man, which you may see on the way out. He looks like RoboCop. Literally, the state guard in El Salvador, as you cross the border into and out of Mexico, literally looks like the guy that's on the wall. If we're lucky, we'll get to see. But look at the flea market here. Now, just for the record, I'm not here to get a new leotard or beanbag, brassiere, or Barbie, as you can see. I'm here to find some new electronics to upgrade my, at times, piss-poor technology, which at times also feels like it's from the late 90s. Dare I say early. But look at just here. It's like, welcome to Hong Kong. so many cameras here.
I thought it was you, but I was like, wait a minute, you're not looking this way.
Hello, welcome in. That way, keep your phone charged.
We went to a place called Ross, which is loaded and littered with lingerie, negligees, purses, silk stockings. Yet, in the mix of all that, the token under the sea, there's electronics. So, but it just goes to show, you saw everything in there, the high guard security. Shoplifting is on the rise, and so is mob theft. What can we do? Anyways, for Real Deal Retail, this is Dean Ryan sending out. Just remember to save your receipts. Yeah, I survived it. It is literally armed guards everywhere you go now in some of these retails, and that's Orange County, and that's never been seen before. And I tried to get as close to him as possible. The guy had a sawed-off shotgun, so yeah, it's starting to turn into El Salvador. If you haven't noticed, I'll tell you that. Well, now let's do the real deal politics just the way you want. Real deal politics. Let's talk about it. Let's be about it. And let's just get going, shall we? Well, a lot of things have now happened in the wake of yesterday's fiasco. And what I mean is all charges have been dropped. There's no there anymore, as James Comey, as well as we know him, Too Tall, Mr. Stretch, Hightower. Well, he's now gloating because he's now saying, you can't catch me. That's right. You just can't do it. Can't touch it. As we'll get to them in a second. But James Comey is now really just gloating about it all as he's protected. He's protected. He did and served his dirty deeds for the deep state. And here he is right now.
I'm grateful that the court ended the case against me, which was a prosecution based on malevolence and incompetence, and a reflection of what the Department of Justice has become under Donald Trump, which is heartbreaking. But I was also inspired by the example of the career people who refused to be part of this travesty. It cost some of them their jobs, which is painful, but it preserved their integrity, which is beyond price. And I know they will serve again. I was very lucky that some of the best lawyers in America stepped forward to represent me. I hope they serve as an example to more and more lawyers, especially at some of the big firms, to participate in protecting our liberty, protecting the rule of law. And my family and friends were always with me, and luckily for me, include some of those great lawyers. This case mattered to me personally, obviously, but it matters most because a message has to be sent that the President of the United States cannot use the Department of Justice to target his political enemies. I don't care what your politics.
Okay, thank you, James Comey, Mr. You Can't Beat Me. And where did he film that? In the public restroom at the airport? My God. And did he make a deal for immunity? And does anyone still care at this point? I mean, this guy should have been in jail a long time ago because we got bigger fish to fry right now. But however, what he did help facilitate was one of the biggest and most harmful political witch hunts this country hasn't seen since the McCarthy era. I certainly do remember, it seems like eons ago, but there was a lot of very unfair trouble that came to people's way who lost their jobs, put in prison, and because of this guy here. Now, with that said, when he subpoenaed Hillary Clinton in 2016 during the campaign, that certainly did not help her chances of winning. So for a brief moment, people thought, oh, maybe he's doing the right thing. But after all, he could have just made an immunity deal with the DOJ, and we're just not hearing about or seeing it. Anyways, we're going to now go back to our main story here, right here, as now we get to the main story here, changing of the guard. And it's not just Kash Patel. No, it's not. It's other people who might be coming back. Yeah. Can you guess who that is? Well, let me tell you about this now. Kash Patel probably won't be doing Real Deal retail this year. He might be losing his, his day job. Oh, yeah, that's true. Kash Patel is now said to be on the chopping block. Yes, he is. As now Trump is now weighing the ousting of Kash Patel, according to sources who are familiar with the ousting. Now, Patel has now come under fire and under many scrutinies as of late, ever since the Epstein fiasco and total failure began, for his stewardship of the Bureau's resources, including his girlfriend's security detail and use of government jet. What a total moron this guy is. I tell you. Well, President Donald Trump is now considering removing Kash Patel as FBI director in the next coming few months, as he and his top aides have grown increasingly frustrated by the unflattering headlines Patel has recently generated. According to 3 people with knowledge of the situation, not so much familiar with the matter, but knowledge of the situation, who requested anonymity, that word that I absolutely hate, in order to speak freely. Now, Patel, who has now also come under scrutiny, including for his girlfriend's security detail. Yeah, this is big. He has the FBI SWAT, who are now her personal bodyguards, and he's using the $6 million private jet of the FBI, which I didn't even know they had, to go watch her sing the national anthem, somewhere in Nashville, which is news to me. I thought, because I'm like, what is the national anthem of Israel? What is the Tel Aviv national anthem? And what is the national bird over there? Oh, it's just the red heifer. Okay, well. Now, Trump and the White House aides have now confided to many allies who are willing to listen, or who's ever left, that the president is now eyeing the removal of Patel indeed, and is now considering top FBI official Andrew Bailey as the Bureau's new director, according to 3 people who, well, as we learned just recently, are familiar with the resources and really have knowledge of the situation. Now, White House spokesperson Abigail Johnson responded to MSNBC, saying that Trump has now assembled the most talented and impressive administration in history, and they're doing an excellent job carrying out the president's agenda. Especially FBI Director Patel. Well, he's a critical member of President Donald Trump's team, and he's working tirelessly to restore the integrity of the FBI. Can't you tell? Can't you tell? But what about Pam Bondi? Where does she fall into this lineup? Well, there's now a plot twist. Get this now. Well, now Sidney Powell, let me tell you about this. Sidney Powell is now reportedly in talks to replace Pam Bondi. This just came out late last night as the Attorney General. And even General Michael Flynn is privately calling on President Donald Trump to fire Bondi and appoint Powell as the next Attorney General of the United States. Now, unlike Bondi, they're saying Powell isn't just a Fox News lawyer. No, she's not. Actually, they're saying she has the guts to fight for free and fair elections to prosecute the deep state. Bondi is all talk. So there you have it. There you have it. Well, one of the little-known secrets about Sidney Poitier is that she really had a heavy hand in supporting the J6 prisoners, especially the ones who couldn't afford lawyers. They didn't want them to have just the local Larry H. Parker lawyers. So she was a big player behind the scenes in that. That was told to me. Stuart Rhodes told me that. Yes, he did, behind the scenes. So she's been busy, but, they try to throw the book at her, so only time will tell. And does General Michael Flynn, does he still have any clout? It's a serious question, I wonder. What do you think out there? Is it going to make a difference? Why don't we poll the audience before we continue, as this unique, rare, exotic show will continue? Okay. Thank you, Pam. What are you saying? What are you saying out there? What say you? Is this going to make a dent? Do we still care? Does Comey's prosecution and of the others, does it matter? In about, I would say, the next couple of weeks, the Clintons have been subpoenaed to answer to the Epstein relationship. That should be something. But they should have been just taken down long ago. I know that Hillary's dead, but you know what I'm saying. What say you out there? Well, we have Claudine saying sushi is bad for you. I'm not eating sushi this year. Thank you. Here's Ranger Buck. Hello, Ranger. And where's my manners too? If you would like to call in here, this is the last World at War before the holiday. We'll have a reunion soon. Let me put this in the live chats. Join the convo. I would love to hear you. Does it matter? Do you think people still care about the people who helped facilitate and author the Red Scare of the modern era, the Russian collusion hoax? Does it matter? And is this Epstein, we'll get to Epstein soon, but, Trump was very reluctant releasing the files, but now he's very uppity and saying, yeah, we'll release it. And they're going to release all Democrats. What say you out there? Join the convo over there on Rumble. Okay. And yes, I am playing peekaboo. Thank you, Arnie. I just saw that. Oh, Lord. Okay. Here's another one. Tim Finch. Good to see you. Michael Flynn is advisor to the president. Mike Flynn. General Flynn. Is that his brother, right? And he has two brothers. I have to remind myself. Okay, so that's how that one goes. Let me continue now, as this really does take another turn here. As what about Mike Huckabee? Is he part of the dream team? Is he right up there with all the other acolytes and all-stars? We'll get this now, as he's now taking a lot of heat, like Dr. Phil. Look at that guy. So hip with that new beard. Well, now Mike Huckabee, who is taking a lot of hits lately. Well, this one is a little different, but yeah, there's also that treason hit he took. He probably took a hit too. Well, Mike Huckabee, the ambassador to Israel for the U.S., remains a paid pitchman for the Florida-based American Behavioral Research Institute. Did you know that? Makers of a product called Relaxum dietary supplement pill, which sounds like a laxative, well, as even a simultaneously serves as he serves as Trump's entourage over there, ambassador to Israel, one of the world's highest profile diplomatic posts. Well, Huckabee is not done just yet there. He has a side hustle. Huckabee's unusual arrangement that allows him to profit from hawking the sleep pills coincides with the recent government scrutiny of Relaxum's manufacture, which describes the product as containing a, quote, carefully formulated blend of drug-free ingredients known for their sleep-inducing and calming properties. Yeah, that's true. That's true, and that's how I feel about Huckabee. He just puts me to sleep so fast. I mean, have you seen the guy? Remember when he had that show on Fox? Yeah, it was a disaster and a real snooze fest, if you ask me. Moving right along here as we continue in the Mike Huckabee files here. Well, that's not all. Up until this weekend, Mike Huckabee, his voice on the other end of the phone, guiding callers through prompts of purchasing Relaxium. So imagine this. He's just touring Tel Aviv with his best friend or friends, Rabbi Shmuley and Netanyahu. But he's also, Huckabee's hawking his Relaxums and laxative pills to all the Jewish people over there and even the non-Jews. Without a blink, without a care. I mean, this guy is such a sociopath. I don't know why he was even picked for this job. So a lot of people are complaining about that. Now, there's a lot of controversy about this. Of course, it's not tested. I'm sure Bobby Kennedy doesn't like it, but he doesn't have a say anymore. He's very compromised. But the talk of the town regarding Huckabee is the fact that he met secretly with one of the most notorious spies for Israel, who's actually an American. And he met him secretly. And he's taken a lot of scrutiny for that, but I doubt anything will happen. But here's some video that Huckabee wants to get out, and he's trying to explain things so we don't, lynch him, because he deserves one. Take it away, Huckabee.
I get asked all the time, because I'm a Christian, and they say, well, why are you so supportive of the Jewish people? I said, you can be Jewish, you don't have to have anything to do with Christians, but you can't be a Christian and not understand that your entire faith is built on the foundation of Judaism. So for Christians, we look at this as an obligation, a moral debt that we must repay. And therefore, I don't understand anyone who says, I'm a Christian, but I don't really want to support the Jews. Well, how can you do that? But it is not the view of those of us who are what I would call biblical believers that accept that what the scripture says about the Jewish people. In Genesis 12, those who bless Israel will be blessed. Those who curse Israel will be cursed. It gets pretty simple. I say there's a miracle every day in this country.
Oh, it's pretty simple, right, Huckabee? Well, it's a message that is just welcomed with open arms, and so much so that even Ted Cruz is borrowing that formula of just pro-Israel everything. In fact, here's some footage of Ted Cruz at his constituents' local gala event. Here it is. Check this out and note the applause.
Respect for dialogue.
I will say this, I am saddened to see that some here, not everyone, but some here, are so consumed with hate that you cannot address your brother. I will say this.
You speak for yourself.
If you will not stand with Israel and the Jews,
No.
then I will not stand with you. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you. Ted Cruz has got to be the worst, the most phoniest, horrible actor. He's such a horrible, bad actor. He makes the Erica Kirk character look like just Susan Lucci, Meryl Streep. That's what a terrible actor Ted Cruz is. He can't even fake it properly. Well, someone else who's a bad actor, and we're going to get to our calls shortly here. Well, Ben Shapiro knows he's losing the argument, although you can't tell through his angry eyebrows. But, however, although their popularity is not really increasing, it's kind of waning and declining. They have the power of the purse and purchase of the power. And they're going to go after the youth now, the Zionists, because they think their messaging will be better for the future if they do. Here's a little example of Ben Shapiro's strategy, his strategy to win the future and win the youth culture. Take note of this one as well. That was the wrong video. We don't know what the hell just happened. Oh, man. The damn gremlins. We're going to take this break here. When we get back, I'm going to check the hood of the time machine here, and we'll see what just happened there. But we're going to do this now. Over the past couple of weeks, our members saw this live, and we've been waiting to debut it for the general. Speaking of Ben Shapiro, he did come to the Real Deal Media interview hallways, and we had an exclusive interview, mano a mano, with Ben Shapiro and our very own Jim Fetzer. So as we go to break, check this segment out, and we'll find out what just happened there. See you after this. Well, our next guest has been waiting in the green room very patiently. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to give a warm round of applause. All the way from Burbank, California, and sometimes Tel Aviv, the one, the only, Ben Shapiro.
Hi, Dean. How you doing? Mr. Jim Fetzer. I'm very proud of his work. Even though he doesn't look the Zionist, and even though we're going to have him assassinated next, he's in big trouble. He's in big snake. You better watch himself.
Now, Ben, I didn't bring you on here to intimidate him, but I just brought you on here to have a conversation. Is that something you think you could do civilly?
Mr. Fetzer seems to think that we're behind the hostages not being brought back. Sorry, I have a little hash brown on my lip. Yeah, I'll be happy to talk to him.
Jim, would you have a conversation with Ben Shapiro?
It's going to be a challenge, Dean. I'm no fan, but he's a rabid Zionist. He's a Zionist fanatic of the worst kind.
Yeah. Let's go toe-to-toe. Zionism is the way to go.
Ben, how can you support Zionists when Zionism wants all the Christians dead? That's the basic motto. How can you support that, Ben Shapiro?
More importantly, you ever kissed a Jew on TV before? Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss right here. Look at his teeth. Look at his teeth. Anyways, I got to get going now. I gotta get going. I'm ready.
Jim, you really intimidated him. He's gone now. That is crazy. Ben Shapiro, everybody. That was wonderful. So where are we off to now, Kathleen?
This is Rio del Sol. It's a side street just off of La Jolla Shores. When I used to come here, all these were homes and everything, and there was just one tiny little 7-Eleven type market down here. Everybody used it to get their snacks from the beach.
Here at La Jolla Beach, where we are here, as this On the Road series continues, it is phenomenal. I'm in my element. I smell amazing. I'm hungry. We're going to go have some eateries here. We're going to check out the market. The locals are nice to me. No one's bit me. No one's bitten me so far. So this is just true living. It's what it's the real deal, really.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
It's real people.
No doubt about it. So stay tuned for more. Yeah. Wow, look at this one. What do we want?
So I'm just going to see what is all here.
Yeah.
This is wild.
We have Maddie Lynn, who is maybe saying, gives new meaning to micromanage. Can't believe what she's referring to. Can't be the waffles, get it? We have Tangerine Dream that says, there will be a database on the manhood now. Thank you.
He means for investigating purposes, to investigate crimes. They may now take photographs of private parts.
And can you believe, Jim, that there's a nude photo of me out there from my stalker in Florida that she put out there, a fictitious nude photo? But Jim, I must say, after seeing the nude photo all these years, I've gotten a lot of compliments on it. I can't be too Jim, I can't be too disgruntled about it. I've gotten nothing but compliments. Okay, we are back. Wow, we are back. And we are back with incredible amounts of love that come from our Real Deal Media members, our Night Owls. And you can become one. All you got to do is go to realdealmedia.tv. We're going to have special discounts for our members for all the new product and the new Christmas collection that, during this downtime for the holidays, I'm going to be creating some incredible new designs you're going to love, as well as our Black Friday and our Cyber Monday and all the other just blacks and cybers and all that stuff. So yes, go become a visionary or debonair. Go to realdealmedia.tv tonight. Why wait until tomorrow? Also, a big thank you to everyone who's donated to Real Deal Go, the campaign over there at givesendgo.com/Real Deal Go. That's givesendgo.com/Real Deal Go. Because why wait when you can go? Speaking of going, if you're out there during this holiday, watch out for these guys. They're hungry because of inflation, and so far you are the cuisine. Just a little PSA for you. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I am your cruise director still, Dean Ryan, and I'm definitely cruising with you here tonight to midnight and beyond. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. We have a little bit more to go. We do have a caller who's calling all the way from Iowa. And, I heard about the cost going up, inflation hurting the heartland, and big agro. Well, they seem to be continuing their huge, big footprint as they step on the necks of the heartland and the farmers out there. Let's welcome for a call here, Mr. Watland. Thank you for calling in here. And let me just remind people you can still call in at this time at your leisure. Mr. Watland, what's on your mind here as this last World War before the holiday comes here? Are you going to be having a big Thanksgiving, a big turkey?
No, we're not doing the turkey thing, but we thought we'd spare a turkey like Trump's doing. He pardons a couple.
Oh yeah, that's good.
We do the same. We're not into. But yeah, the farms are kind of hurting. The big corporate farms are are killing it, but the little guys they're being forced out. Chinese are buying up the land. BlackRock, Bill Gates. It's going to disappear. Our way of life.
Yeah, that is strange. Who do you think's purchasing more farmland in middle America? Is it the Chinese or is it BlackRock, which is?
I see it as like cartel, members of the cartel, and maybe the Jewish mafia. I really don't.
Jewish mafia.
They give it a false name. Not really. They don't go out and put cartel on the lease or on the contract. But I mean,
it's quite deceitful. Quite deceitful. Speaking of the Jewish mafia, thank you for bringing that up. I've been thinking more and more about this concept for quite some time now. And, I cannot think of any movies out there, that have ever represented the Jewish mafia, except for the hinting of it in Godfather 2. Now, we've seen everything about the Italian mafia over and over. Scorsese, all the De Niro, all these people. You've seen the Chinese mafia, definitely the Bruce Lee connection. You've heard about the Russian mafia who, runs the cocaine trafficking throughout Hollywood and LA. But we never get to hear about the Jewish mafia who, they were one of the big families in New York, part of the mafia family.
CIA or something, or
so cynical. You could be correct on that. But, as all this disclosure is coming out, I'm now seeing more and more now coming out of Hollywood, some big players, not necessarily actors and actresses, but big producers, directors who are now being alleged to be Mossad spies after all. And I think it's a bigger problem than we realize in the entertainment industry, because it's not just the CIA and China, it's what you just said there, the mafia. So there was a wonderful piece too, in just closing here. There's a wonderful.
I think some of the Italian mob is going against them, but that's just my thoughts. I see some Italian names and.
Let me give you an example. What I discovered is why has Adam Sandler, okay? I don't know if you've seen his movies. They're horrible movies. Yeah. How has he been able to continue and bankroll all of these disastrous movies? Makes no sense to me, other than what has now been recently discovered because of the Epstein files, some of them that have come out. His wife and her family, particularly her father, was very close to Jeffrey Epstein, who was an Israeli intel agent, which tells you Adam Sandler gets bankrolled by the Zionists to make the most crappiest movies ever, with the exception of one or two.
And I learned something every time I tune into your show here, and that's what it's all about. I like to delve into things, and and maybe it'll be the death of me yet, but I'll go down swinging if I can. I just want to wish your viewership happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And, most of what you see is theater, it's fake, and but there's some real threat back there, but they're cowards. They are cowards.
I got to tell you, Mr. Whiteland, you're sounding great. Your spirit, your energy is much better. Yeah, flex again. I want to see that. You inspire me. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Mean, lean fighting machine. I love it.
I show you my muscle, but I got my long sleeve shirt on.
Yeah. You don't want to show off too much and brag. I mean, little old me, but can we expect a Mr. Watland Christmas Carol this coming Christmas, like last year?
I don't know, and I can try that too.
Okay.
Do something there.
We'll talk. But you look great. You sound even better, and I'm glad you called in. Thank you for calling.
Well, thank you for having me. It's nice talking to you again.
Yes. Call.
Watch your
call me anytime.
wherever you are, watch your six. And,
Yes, I will. And I'll watch my backside too, because I've been working out just like you. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Wetland. That's just wonderful. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Well, now I'm going to jump on the Concorde as we have Real Deal International is now, well, we're about to get to our destination, aren't we? Shall we? Real Deal International. Yes, it is. We've been waiting a long time for this. Well, so has China and Japan. They've been having a throwdown battle economically, spiritually, esoterically, even just almost physically at this point, with Donald Trump in the middle, like a referee. Well, let me tell you about this as I'm learning about it, as well as now China and Japan are now in a huge showdown with Trump in the middle. Yes, which would be a great little sitcom on Fox, don't you think? Trump in the middle. Well, with Japan's new leader refusing to back down from China's show of force and claims on Taiwan, Xi Jinping, or Winnie the Pooh in translation, picks up the phone to try to pry the U.S.-Japan alliance apart. Yes, he has one of those little rose petals where he's saying, he loves me not, they love me. Yes, that's what Xi Jinping does all the time. Well, now, if anyone needed any evidence of a critical moment that is developing over there in the Asia-Pacific diplomacy, well, look no further than the phone call that just took place the other day, Monday to be exact, between Xi Jinping and President Trump. And I would have loved to have been a fly on that wall, don't you think? Well, Xi Jinping, who reached out to Trump because a Japanese leader is now taking her country's strongest stance since World War II to assert that Taiwan's security is also Japan's security. Yes, while that has long been apparent to the military planners over there, given Taiwan's proximity to southern Japan. And you have to understand, too, it's a very Eastern philosophy and very anciently practiced, but China believes that all the Asia Pacific and all of the residents all stem from China and belong to China. They're the leaders. They're the U.S. of the Far East now. So in addition to that, the Japan that has U.S. bases over there at Okinawa, Osaka, Japan's new strategic posture has now alarmed Beijing's leaders to the point where they're now having to put Western media on standby. Well, China has now been doing everything possible in recent years to isolate Taiwan, as we all know, in an island democracy and persuade other countries to accept Beijing's claim to sovereignty at its most peak. Well, most countries have now switched diplomatic recognition from Taipei to Beijing, leaving the Taiwan increasingly friendless. Countries like Lithuania and Czech Republic that dare to contact Taiwan informally face swift retribution from Beijing. Chinese air and naval patrols now have circumnavigated Taiwan with increasing frequency. So few observers expected Japan's new Prime Minister, Sanae Takaichi, to immediately take a tough stand toward China. Yeah, this would fully complete the World War III apparatus that has been forming. Now, but on November 7th recently, the new Prime Minister over there has now told Parliament that an effort by China to blockade and, yes, even invade Taiwan would be a survival issue for Japan, a term that has legal implications in Japan by permitting an overseas deployment of its military in self-defense forces, something we haven't seen or they've seen since 1942. And yes, even 1944, but that was a bad year. Well, now Ms. Takaichi's comments were among the strongest ever that Japan's ever seen in quite some time. Although former president, although dead and fake and prosthetic, Joseph R. Biden Jr., just so you know, that to be exact, made a similar remark at least 4 times while in office. Now, China responded with a series of economic, military, and diplomatic measures against Japan. But Japanese officials are not backing down one bit. No, they're not. During a trip just recently on Sunday to a military base over there in the southern Japanese island of Yanganui, excuse me. I get it mixed up sometimes, located about 70 miles east of Taiwan. the defense minister, Shinjiro Kosumi, confirmed his country's intention to proceed with plans to deploy medium-range anti-aircraft missiles at the post. So they're preparing for a big struggle here. And we're already overstretched fighting Israel's wars. I don't think we can fight Japan's wars as well. I mean, this is just too much. They're going to have to wait in line. Now, to add, in addition to all of that, the infamous call that just took place 24 hours ago between Trump and Gigi, it comes amidst an arguably the most serious crisis in a China-Japan relations in over decades, as now China is beginning to exert enormous amounts of pressure on Japan like they've never seen before, and they believe that Tokyo will blink. Yes, and people believe they'll blink as well, and one of those people is David Sachs, a fellow for Asia Studies at the Council on Foreign Relations, the CFR. Now, there's an organization we haven't heard or talked about in quite some time, the CFR. The CFR, whose mission statement is to form a one-world government. The CFR, whose major spokesperson over the course of 20 years now has been George Clooney, just for some reason. Can't imagine why that would be. So there you have that. So there's a war on all fronts. You know, I was thinking about this the other night. How many fronts or how many war fronts are there around the world? And I had to count, and I said, wow, there's got to be at least 3, and there's got to be more than 5. Well, let's count them right here, and we'll get back to this in 1 second. But if you count it, so we have a war now in Venezuela. That's the Caribbean, and you can add Cuba to that, and Russia will come to play as well. Then we have a pending war that doesn't really get a lot of attention. We think it's all settled, but it's not entirely. Over there in Syria, yes, a lot of violent explosions. Then we have the secret wars of Israel that are happening, even amidst a ceasefire in Lebanon and surrounding areas. Gaza was never really a war. It's completely demolished and gone. There's that war front. We have a almost pending, if not we're in war, we're just not hearing about it, at our own borders with Mexico. We should be having a war on the northern border with the communist Trudeau government and all of his little cronies that are still in power. Dare I say China's cronies too. So that should be war. It's an economic war, but it should be hot. We should really liberate the Canadian people at this point, because I'm really tired of talking about the enslavement of the good people up there and all the resources that are getting burned, the logging and fresh water, throwing it all away. So there's that war front. We have the war front in Taiwan and between Taiwan and China. Now between China versus Taiwan and Japan, that war, and add the Philippines too. And then we have the pending war on Venezuela and the Caribbean, and then Colombia, add Colombia to the front. But also, what is happening in South America? There's got to be a war there too. So there's all these factions, and in addition to that, and there's also every major superpower who's vying for a strategic position in the North Pole. You heard about Greenland, which I was just made aware of a new series, a new film called Greenland, which looks spectacular. I think we'll be playing that this weekend for our members. Another reason to join. So there's, if you're counting at home, that's at least 5 different areas of the war front. However, I think the biggest war front is the one that is kind of overlooked, although it is a big topic, and that's Antarctica. And, this kind of plays into almost a Fringe Friday kind of a concept, but, could this be an arms race? Now, we've made the case that we're experiencing a worldwide military drill called ZIL. If that's the case, and it could be, as we have rumors of war and just CGI wars, could it be an arms race to build up a ammunition bundle and weaponry of introductions of new weapons we haven't even heard about to fight a greater enemy that's in Antarctica? It's just the other day, Russia made the announcement of a 76,000-ton underwater vessel that's going to be circling the Arctic for no particular reason. So I do wonder, is there a greater enemy that we've only heard about through Admiral Birdall from his discoveries in Antarctica all the way back in the 40s. I'm very inclined to look at that with an open mind at this point. So that's how I feel about it. Speaking of vessels, I do have a correction to make on the story from last night in Venezuela, which I'm going to tell you about as we now go to Real Deal's World War III coverage, something that is really lacking right now. World War III, let's talk about it now. Well, yeah, last night I made the claim, which was based on confusion, that the naval carrier Gerald Ford was an old ship. I'm confusing it with an entirely different ship. It is one of the most elite new naval air carriers out there to date. So I do correct myself. Yes, I do. Well, speaking of World War III now, in Russia and everything that's unholy over there. Now, Russian General Russia is now in Venezuela, and he's leading the militias. Yes, they're training militias over there in Venezuela for the impeding invasion by the American military armed forces. A controversial Russian general is now in Venezuela. Yes, we brought it upon ourselves, leading a rotational advisory mission. He's the head of Ukraine's Defense Intelligence Directorate. And he told recently in an exclusive publication called The War Zone that he's there and he's not leaving until America does. His name is Lieutenant General Kyril Bundanov. Yes, that's his name. He also goes by Colonel General, as well. So it just depends what you're asking. Well, he's in charge of more than 120 troops who are now training Venezuelan forces on a wide range of military functions, according to people who are familiar with the training. Now, those activities are not in reaction to the current U.S. military buildup in the region, but they just happen to be at the same time that the invasion is just lurking around the corner. Now, the Warzone publication cannot independently verify these claims, and many others have now reached out to the White House, Pentagon, U.S. Southern Command for confirmation, but to no avail. Many new updates to this story and the pertinent details are yet to come. Questions of who this general is and why is he there have not been answered, but the obvious is smacking us right in the face. Yes, discernment comes into play. Well, the Ukrainian intelligence chiefs who have been fighting Russians for a long time, they're starting to comment as Trump's administration has now established a significant presence of U.S. forces over there in the Caribbean. While task force of the Southern Spear is obviously aimed at countering narcotic trafficking in the region. Thank God they're stopping that terrible marijuana from coming to this country. I'll tell you, it's a gateway drug of God knows what. Doritos, brownies. Now, the effort is also focused on pressuring Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro to retire. That's kind of what this is all about. No declaration of war, no explanation other than drugs, narcotics, we don't know which. And that's all we know. Now, this specific general from Russia and his troops who are now training the Venezuelan militias, they said many experts are now saying they think they're going to be behind the scenes, and officially Russia will try to speak to the U.S. because their units are in Venezuela. So they're saying it's just a game. Now, hey, if maybe this could be talked away and talked out. Someone needs to talk to Trump or the guy playing Trump, because now the deployment of Russian troops to Venezuela is a long-standing rotation now that has existed for years, and we've known about it. In fact, the original Antifa, before they became the FBI Presents Antifa, a lot of the training was done in Venezuela and then brought to Portland, Seattle, and then, Northern California. He also said that they can't go further on any further details on it, but we should be worried because Venezuela has one of the biggest citizen army in the Western Hemisphere. Yeah, so much so it makes Wyoming and Montana look just like a just Boy Scouts troop. That's how many people are dedicated to protecting the Venezuelan country. So there you have it. And you know what? These Russian generals and all of their troops, they have just really made clam chowder and hamburger beef out of the Ukrainian soldiers. It's these people, these guys, they're a force to be reckoned with. I mean, they drink vodka just because they like the taste. That's how hard they are. So I, for one, am a little worried about that. Speaking of a little worried, I think we do have the right clip now, do we? Is that what it is? Yeah, we're going to find it. Anyways, we're going to go to our next segment here as we now have some confirmation on things about some real deal bots. Did you hear about this? As Elon Musk is now coming back into everybody's memory. He won't go away. He did for a while. I kind of forgot who he was, but he's now coming back and making statements that he has his own robot army. And should we be worried? I feel that we should be. So we now go to real deal bots. Exactly. Well, this is some surprising new science fiction is now becoming science fact kind of ordeals here. Elon sure loves the spotlight, but he loves his robots even more. True statement there. Is now Tesla wants to build a robot army. Yes, it wasn't good enough for the sex robots for Elon. Now he wants his own constituents. Well, Elon Musk is now already the world's richest man, is now on the path becoming the first trillionaire of the world, but that's not good enough now. As Tesla's shareholders recently approved a massive pay package for the CEO, including some $1 trillion in stock options. And can you even spend that in a lifetime? Can you spend that in a lifetime? I often think not. Now, this is what he plans on doing with his new $1 trillion Christmas bonus, as the payout will happen only if certain targets are met, and I'm sure they will be, including Musk's successful deployment of 1 million Optimus robots. That's what they're called. As they're now named after the Transformers character itself because of its Optimus Prime kind of looking and shape, a humanoid machine that's supposed to be able to complete boring and dangerous tasks, especially in workplaces where humans often perish. Now, the robot was unveiled just 4 years ago, but who was paying attention, to be honest? As Tesla held the first ever AI Day event detailing its future plans, Musk declared that Tesla needs to be, quote, much more than an electric car company. We need to make robots for the future, armies, and even sex slave robots too, because he has a very salacious mind, but not as bad as Bobby Kennedy, as we learned Monday. And if I won't repeat what I learned Monday, and neither should you. Also, what we've also learned is that the reshaping of the future isn't just Ben Shapiro's, warped mind. No, it's now coming from Tesla itself with a $1 trillion financial backing that will never cease to end. It's endless, like a mimosa. Well, this is what he wrote, that everybody needs to be accepting of these bots, as now working will be optional, like growing your own vegetables. Instead of buying them from the store, you can now have your Optimus robot from Tesla do it for you. So, for guys, we don't like to go the retail shopping. No, we don't. Now we can have our robot do it for us. And, it sounds hunky-dory, but I'm sure there's a very dark, nefarious, sinister kind of conclusion that could devolve from this. That one, I guarantee you. That's how I see fit on that one. I think we have the right clip now, almost. But this is a story I did not do during our Real Deal International, and this is a surprising story. You're not going to hear this in many other places. In post October 7th of the Israeli just days that will live in infamy, a lot of the citizens in that country wound up leaving Israel. Many have gone to Cyprus, the country of Cyprus, where many of the very influential, rich Israelis were buying property and land in very power central kind of properties where there's the energy sector, there's the governmental properties, and a lot of people who are locals are beginning to get worried as reshaping the future just doesn't start with travel, but it starts with the youth culture. So we're going to watch this clip, and then I'm going to tell you where the citizens of Israel 1.0, because Israel 1.0 is going to be gone. I mean, as we showed you, Netanyahu is going to be selling all the corporations in Israel 1.0, and everything is going to Ukraine, the original home of the Khazarians. Speaking of Khazarians, here's one with painted eyebrows. Check this out.
Most people do not become political in a particular way because they watch the news. They watch the news in large part after they've become a little bit political.
And the way that people mostly become political is through culture. It is through kind of the normal water cooler conversations they have day to day. And so one of our goals was, once we had built up a big enough audience, could we start to broaden our mission to include things like entertainment content that was going to shape people's values from the time that they were young. So, for example, we have a children's programming unit called Bent Key that has several 100,000 subscribers, and it embodies sort of classical Judeo-Christian values for kids, where you're not worried that you're going to leave your 5-year-old in front of a TV and suddenly Miss Rachel's going to be lecturing them about Palestine.
Yeah, they're not worried at all, because now they're going somewhere else. They're going to now Thailand. This is what pretty wild story here. But yes, that's right. Thailand seems to be the new focus of fleeing Israelis. However, just like Cyprus and some other places now, Israelis are now facing scrutiny in southern Thailand hotspots where they seem to be residing. In the postcard perfect Surat Thani, home of the Ko Phangan and Ko Sumai, a local storm has now gathered over the past month. What started off as quiet complaints about culture clashing has now swelled into open anger. Can you imagine that? If history and recent history proves anything right, I would imagine that the Israelis have now gone to Bangkok and have tried to rid the national cuisine of rice and tried to make it, I don't know, matzo ball. And if you disagreed with that, you're called anti-Semitic, I would imagine. Yes, if history serves anything right. Well, this is quite a culture clash, to say the least. Residents have now accused some Israeli nationals of breaking laws, ignoring traditions, and creating an Israeli settlement. Yes, they're very adverse to anything that's not part of their lineage, because they're the chosen ones, and you're just a little peons, stepping stones, and tissue paper. Well, as far back as October 2025, and October 14th to be exact, the provincial government, to be exact, ordered a sweeping probe into illegal foreign-run businesses, with a focus on claims that Israeli investors are now buying up farmland through Thai fronts to build what detractors describe as an emerging Jewish enclave. So this is what's happening in Thailand. Imagine the beautiful beaches of Thailand. And go watch the beautiful film called The Beach, I believe it's called, with Leonardo. And you want to see the majestic beauty? Yes, that's what they want. They want the beachfront property. And ask everyone in Gaza, and they'll tell you that's true. This is how they do it. Yeah. So now the officials have more to say now. Not only are they creating these so-called Jewish enclaves, now Thai officials, proud of their hospitalities, say they will enforce the rules, a move that has sparked fierce debate over tourism, sovereignty, and the rise in anti-Semitic sentiment. I told you it was coming. I told you it was coming. Just give it a minute. Now, the spark came as the Israeli arrivals surged. Now, immigration data has now counted, get this, 4,030 Israelis in the province of Surat Thani, just as early as October of this year, now including 2,548 over there in the other province of Ko Phangan, surprising some traditional European markets. Now, the visa-free entry for Israelis, there you go, it's visa-free for Israelis. When I had to go to Thailand, no, I had to get a visa. I had to make sure I had written the whole thing. I never made it. This was 2 years ago. I was invited to be a keynote speaker at a huge event. My passport did not expire for like another month at that point. They would not let me in. But had I been from Israel and just a rude, total jerkimer from Tel Aviv, oh, come right in. What visa? Come on in. Want to buy some land and tell me which Lady Tybo you want too. You would have gotten carte blanche. See? So yeah, the surge is real. The surge is real now. Now, locals say the boom has now strained the island's environment and social order. Farmers and family-run operators claim that Israelis are buying something called nominee proxies to bypass foreign ownership rules, snapping up rice fields and coconut groves for villas and private resorts. Yeah, this is what happens. You know, and this whole time it's China doing it. Well, China does it, yes, but so does Israel. Now, just recently in that October surprise, many people who are part of the hotel associations over there, well, the president now warned that farmland was being replaced by pools and properties for partying, while communities were left to deal with the fallout. And this is sacred land. These people are all Buddhist. They're very traditional. It's a very traditional culture. Very traditional culture. Till you get to the red light district, and then that's a different subculture. Well, now the investigation began all the way back in October, as we've heard for the fifth time. The tourist police entered. They saw and they made the arrest of a bunch of men, in this case, 4 Israeli men, all former soldiers, IDF, on suspicion of drug possession. And by the way, drugs are a huge no-no. Anything, marijuana, they'll cane you, everything. They'll put you in the dungeon. They'll do the Chinese water torture on you, or the Chinese water handcuffs with your fingers. Now, the officers said they seized, get this now, this is incredible, ecstasy pills, traces of cannabis, and party items from what locals described as an all-night event. Residents blame the gathering for littered beaches and damaged fences were due to a lot of these Israelis, where they even said sex toys were found between these men. Wow. Now, immigration and provisional police now, together with the land department officials, raided 2 unlicensed hotels, Hotel Akarna and the Lap Lodge Resort. 3 Israelis, including managers named Sean Gall and Guy, were taken into custody along with 5 Thai and Myanmar workers for operating without permits, employing undocumented staff. Yeah, they're illegal aliens. Can't do that here, but with them you can. Now, a 4th Israeli suspect was said to be on the run, accused of directing a nominee arrangement that channeled foreign money into these properties now. The enforcement covers all nationalities, and the complaints are all focused on these islands where all the Israelis seem to be gathering for the complete takeover. Yes, and they will. And the people of Thailand, the people of Cyprus, if you want to see what the outcome is going to be, if you don't make your moves and act now, well, go ask the Palestinians for some advice. Look what happened there. Now, locals, in kind of in a sunset manner here, locals say that Israelis buyers plan, which is what this is, self-contained neighborhoods with Hebrew signs, kosher kitchens, and Shabbat support, reflecting models seen abroad, call it a colonization by holiday, pointing to 2,627 Israeli visa extensions lodged by as far back as just this September, including 181 for businesses. Thai law limits foreign ownership in condominiums to 49% and bans it outright for farmland, yet locals say enforcement has been weak until now. Yeah, they better make their move. The local governor has now promised fast evidence gathering, title revocations, and fines up to 1 million Thailand currency, which is $30,000 in US. And the economic trade offstings, they're saying, just from January to September alone, Israelis ranked 12th amongst arrivals at the Sumai airport with 2,711 passengers. slightly behind the Australians and the Britons, who I assume are from the UK, the Britons. Yes. But they still spend heavily now at bars, full moon events, and all men events too. But that is no excuse now, as the people are pissed. So there you have it. They're overstaying their visas. They don't give a damn. They're starting businesses illegally. They're putting up all their kosher signs and Shabbat signs. They're just defecating on people's beaches. They could care less. And this is the migration that we've been used to seeing the past couple of years. It's happening all over the place, even in Australia, which I was pretty stunned to find out. Like, how do they even make it? How do they reach Australia? Some of these migrants, what say you out there? Is this why the old saying that certain people have been kicked out of every country? Is this how it all happened? We can make that statement, can't we? We can make that statement now. And what does Ted Cruz have to say about this? Shouldn't Ted Cruz be in Thailand defending his brethren, his employers, his people, his friends? I tell you, okay, we have Janine Paul. Thank you. Makes me sick. I know. Yeah, it makes me sick. Thailand is such a beautiful country. They don't deserve this. Here's some other, and continuing, she says, the Israelis will see places and do things only simple folk like us can only dream about, not right. And they are freaking disgusting. They look down on anyone that's not Israeli. That's true. That's true. And they try to keep it all in the DNA, and that's why they have a worm in their brain that creates the psychopathy. Yeah. Yeah, I think. But, and Jean, you don't have to buy insurance, but she bought insurance. Okay, she says just to, not all bad, but there's Israelis, they give them bad. Yeah, we know. But thank you. You're right. Thank you. Okay, let me go to Rumble here, and I'm gonna show you what Australia does and what they're having to endure with their migrant issue. Here we go to. Then we have one more story here. We have Rebel Mama that says Thailand learning the hard way. Don't leave the door unlocked, and undesirable creatures will wander in. I know, and I tried to wander in; they wouldn't let me in. So I don't know why. That is the mystery there. Okay, here's another one here. Whatever happened to Interpol? Yeah, Interpol. Interesting about Interpol. I can't talk about Interpol. I have a big story about Interpol. They're investigating somebody very nefarious and noteworthy, but it's the holidays. I don't want to get too excited right now. So anyway, yeah. So here's Australia. Here's Australia before our last story here. This is what's happening in Sydney and Bondi Beach. Wait a minute. It's happening in Bondi Beach. It's happening in Canberra. It's happening in Melbourne, Sydney, and crikey, these migrants got to go. No, we don't want them here. Check this out. You know what I'm talking about. Crikey, it's terrible.
Brother, what are you doing, cuz? Cuz, what are you doing? Sorry? What are you doing? What do you mean? What are you doing, cuz? What are you fucking doing? This is Australia.
I know.
Don't fucking shit on the ground, you fucking pig.
I'm just being...
Go! Get out of here!
Alright.
What do you mean, right? Huh? You fucking sicko? Fucking peeing on the ground. What is wrong with you? Huh? You're squatting.
Just peeing.
That's not how you pee, you fucking weirdo. You pee with your dick.
Yeah, I didn't review that beforehand, but you could tell the anger is real. Imagine this is your birthright. You were born here, and you have a bunch of randos just mucking up your country, literally, with their pants off. The only difference with this one versus the ones that are in Thailand, this guy is pinching pennies. They're pinching shekels, gold shekels, and they have just millions of it. And that's the difference. And they they're like gypsies, but with a lot of money and running the banking system and the entire entertainment industry, as we know it. You see, Let's now get to our final segment here as it's getting weird, which gives us real deal weird news, shall we? Real deal weird news. Well, this is certainly weird, and it also could fall under the category of whoa, man. But whoa, not so fast. Well, now this is coming out of the Telegraph now as a son dresses as his dead mother, who is, to describe it, and I'll show you here in a minute, she looks like Mrs. Doubtfire. And a simple ruse he concocted to claim her pension. Yes, an Italian pensioner has now been deceased now for 3 years when family member, her son, was caught impersonating his mother while trying to renew her ID card in order to get her Social Security benefits. Wow. The nerve, just the nerve, the brazen nerve, and the creativity behind it as well. It's now said that the assailant, as we call him, the son, an unemployed Italian man, has now been accused of dressing up like his mother in complete lipstick, pearl necklace, to fraudulently claim her pension in a bizarre case that has been dubbed the Mrs. Doubtfire scandal. You know, what does that say, though? What does that say about the state of people's finances, their moralities? What does that say about it? In fact, okay, let me just show you what this looks like now. So this is not Robin Williams. Not Robin Williams. This is a son of, well, I don't want to say the B word, but you know what I'm talking about. Check this out. This, you have to see it to believe it. Mother's dead, and now he's dressing like his mother to collect her pension. What is he thinking? What is he thinking? Is that something any of you would do? Just kind of sickening. You know who does something similar to that? And I find him to be a complete weird guy. And I played in his theater before over there in Vegas, is Penn Jillette, who claims to be a libertarian, but he's always on the fence and all these things. He does something similar. He paints his pinky and grows his nail long to look like his mother's and puts his mother's ring on his finger. It's just weird to me. I don't know why that is. Very weird to me. Anyways, that's going to bring us now to, well, you know what it is. Final thoughts. Final thoughts. Okay, yes, we know the tune. Well, final thoughts for the changing of the guard. Well, you know, the old saying of get rid of the old boss, meet the new boss. Well, maybe the same applies to the changing of the guard. But although that's the cynical view, could this be a sign of major sea change for the Donald Trump? One of the Donald Trumps? Is it too little too late? Is there still time for him to turn this ship around? And if and when he does, will all of us, few or most, will they forgive him? Or was this part of the plan all along to let these people hang themselves? And have we hung ourselves too in the process? Because coping is a very, very difficult 5-letter word, assuming it's 5 letters. But you know what I mean? That's what we're having to ask ourselves now, because we're so late in the game. We've been in this game for a long time. The enthusiasm has really gone the way of the Trump, 1.0. And what's left is a little bit of hope in our communities and our people here. And that's what we have. That's what's within reach. That's what's in a tangible reach. And that's what is giving me hope. And with that, we can inspire a lot, because in this time of what feels like traveling through the desert, following Moses off a cliff, we have seen, me personally, I've seen so many people come together during this time. I've seen people that have been self-described as what you would call a liberal or a hardcore conservative. Well, joining arms together is now we can really see what the adversaries look like, as the people of Thailand are now seeing the same. And that's what is tangible too. When it's one thing to know there's an enemy amongst you, but you can't see it. It's a whole nother thing to know there's an enemy within, embedded, and who's now cornered by the American people, if not the world. And that's what's self-satisfying and what I'm thankful for this coming Thanksgiving. Okay, there's how that one is. I'm going to get out of here, but tomorrow night, it will be a very special Friendsgiving, very quaint, loose leaf, dress code is casual if you want. And we'll be doing that at the normal time of 10 p.m. Eastern. And I invite all of you to make it if you're around. And we will talk about things we're thankful for, play some incredible segments and bits, a few memories, and a little song or two. It should be a really peachy keen kind of time. So join me tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern, and you'll hear more about that. Anyways, we're going to get out of here. So for all of us here at Real Deal Media, I'm Dean Ryan, saying thank you for sharing this Thanksgiving Eve almost with me. I'll be back tomorrow night. Until then, always remember to stay tuned and stay awake. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Maybe.
Yeah.